Work like you're behind. That's the secret nobody wants to hear because it doesn't sound comfortable, it doesn't sound fair, and it doesn't fit into the world of shortcuts. But that's exactly why it works. When you carry the mentality that you're losing, that someone out there is hungrier, more obsessed, more committed than you, it forces you to move differently. You don't coast, you don't relax, you don't celebrate early. You stay on edge, you stay dangerous. The second you start believing you've made it, you lose your fire. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever did. When you think you're ahead, you start to slow down without realizing it. You start taking days off that you haven't earned. You start expecting results without putting in the same level of work that got you there in the first place. That's how people fall off. That's how greatness fades. But when you train your mind to always think you're behind, you never stop hunting. You never stop earning it. That mindset keeps you sharp. It builds a kind of hunger that can't be faked. Because you're no longer chasing applause. You're chasing growth. You start asking yourself different questions. How can I get better? What haven't I mastered yet? Where am I still weak? You stop comparing yourself to other people and start competing with the version of yourself that still lives inside your head, the one who's not there yet, not strong enough, not disciplined enough. You wake up every day trying to bury that version. People around you will never understand that kind of hunger. They'll call it obsession. They'll call it unhealthy. They'll tell you to slow down, to rest, to live a little, but they don't get it. You're not driven by validation. You're driven by fear of mediocrity. You've seen what happens when people get comfortable. They become ghosts of who they could have been. You've seen how quickly momentum dies when effort stops. That's why you keep your foot on the gas. You work like you're losing even when you're winning. Because you know the moment you relax, someone else out there, someone hungrier, someone tougher, is getting closer. Every rep, every late night, every lonely hour when no one's watching, that's where the real progress lives. It's not the highlight reel that defines you. It's the grind behind it. Working like you're behind doesn't mean you never appreciate your growth. It means you never let satisfaction replace hunger. You can be proud, but never done. You can celebrate, but never settle, because the second you think you're safe, you've already started losing your edge. The truth is, the great ones don't work for applause. They work from paranoia. They know success is rented, not owned. And rent is due every single day. When your back's against the wall, you stop making excuses. You stop negotiating with your limits. You do what needs to be done because you know no one's coming to save you. That's what it means to work like you're behind. To operate every single day as if the world doesn't owe you anything, as if you still have something to prove, even when you've already proved it. When you live with that mindset, fatigue becomes fuel. Doubt becomes energy. The grind becomes your normal. You don't chase comfort, you chase growth. You don't wait for motivation, you move through discipline. You understand that greatness isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. And that lifestyle demands that you wake up every day hungry, humble, and relentless. Because when you work like you're behind, you never stop earning the right to be ahead. The grind is the equalizer. It doesn't care where you came from, what you've done, or how talented you think you are. When the lights go out, when the cameras are gone, and it's just you versus the work, that's when the truth shows up. That's when talent begins to fade and the grind starts talking. You can have all the natural ability in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to suffer, to keep going when your mind says stop, you'll never last. The grind exposes everyone. It strips away the excuses, the ego, the image, and it leaves only one question behind. How bad do you really want it? When fatigue hits, that's when most people quit. They mistake tiredness for their limit. They think pain means stop. But that's the moment when the real ones wake up. Because greatness doesn't begin until comfort ends. When you're exhausted, when your legs are heavy, when your mind is begging you to rest, that's when the grind separates the good from the unstoppable. Everyone loves the idea of success until they meet the part that hurts. Everyone wants the results, but very few want the process that builds them. The grind is not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not pretty. It's early mornings, long nights, endless repetition, and zero applause. It's doing the same hard thing every day without seeing results right away. The grind doesn't reward potential. It rewards endurance. It rewards the ones who show up no matter how they feel. It rewards the ones who stay when everyone else leaves. You can be born with talent, but the grind will expose how much heart you have. Because talent without effort dies quick. Fatigue has no respect for gifted people. Fatigue eats talent alive. It doesn't care about your trophies, your followers, or your reputation. The grind doesn't ask what you've done. It asks what you're willing to do again, today, when no one's watching. The grind is the equalizer because it gives everyone a chance to win, but it also gives everyone a chance to quit. It's fair and brutal at the same time. The lazy will call it unfair. The weak will call it impossible. But the committed, they understand it's the only way. The grind doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about age, background, or status. The same pain hits everyone. The same wall stands in front of everyone. The only difference is who decides to keep pushing when it hurts. When you embrace the grind, you stop relying on talent and start building toughness. You stop depending on motivation and start developing discipline. Motivation fades when you're tired. Discipline grows stronger when you're tired. That's the shift. That's when you become dangerous. Because now, you're not working only when it feels good. You're working because it's who you are. You grind not for the reward, but because the grind itself becomes your identity. You learn to love the pain because you understand it's shaping you into something unbreakable. Every hour of work, every drop of sweat, every time you fight through exhaustion, that's a deposit into your future. The grind teaches you that nothing is free, that every result you want demands a sacrifice. It humbles you, but it also hardens you. It turns your doubts into drive and your limits into lessons. And the more you go through it, the more you realize that the grind isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's preparing you for the moments when life throws everything at you and expects you to stand tall anyway. The grind is where you find out who you really are. Not when things are easy, not when you're winning, but when you're empty and still choose to keep going. The grind is the mirror that reflects your truth. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't care about potential. It only rewards persistence. And the ones who stay in that fire long enough, they come out different. They come out sharper, stronger, harder to break. Because the grind doesn't just build success, it builds character. It builds endurance. It builds warriors who refuse to quit, no matter how heavy the weight gets. Discipline over emotion. That's the line that separates the average from the elite, the weak from the relentless. Most people live their lives based on how they feel. They move when they're motivated. They quit when they're tired. They speak about dreams, but act only when it's convenient. But discipline doesn't care about convenience. Discipline doesn't need motivation. Discipline is the silent force that shows up when emotion runs out. It's what keeps you on track when your body says stop and your mind starts making excuses. You won't always feel like working. There will be mornings when the alarm hits and your body begs you to stay in bed. There will be nights when the pain from yesterday still echoes through your muscles. There will be days when you question why you're even doing it. That's the moment that defines you. That's the split second where you either listen to emotion or you obey discipline. Emotion will lie to you every time. It will whisper comfort. It will sell you on rest. It will convince you that tomorrow is a better day to start again. But discipline speaks truth. It tells you there is no tomorrow, only right now. The reason most people never reach their full potential isn't because they lack talent or opportunity. It's because they're slaves to their feelings. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel strong. They wait to feel inspired. The problem is, those feelings never come when you need them. Discipline doesn't wait. It acts. It moves forward regardless of mood, regardless of weather, regardless of circumstance. That's why discipline wins. That's why it builds consistency, and consistency builds results. Motivation may get you started, but discipline is what keeps you standing when everyone else sits down. When you operate with discipline, you learn to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them. You train your mind to follow commands, not impulses. You don't chase comfort, you command effort. You don't wait for permission, you create movement. Discipline turns chaos into structure, confusion into clarity, and weakness into strength. It's not about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about showing up whether you're in pain, tired, bored, or unmotivated, because the mission doesn't care about how you feel. The mission only responds to action. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of discipline. The athlete who keeps training after the crowd leaves, the soldier who keeps pushing through exhaustion, the dreamer who keeps working after rejection. They all understand one truth: emotions are temporary, but results are permanent. Your feelings can change in seconds, but the work you put in lasts forever. When you're driven by emotion, you're inconsistent. When you're driven by discipline, you're unstoppable. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's repetition. It's doing the same thing again and again until it becomes who you are. It's the unseen hours, the ignored sacrifices, the choices nobody celebrates. That's the price of excellence. And most people aren't willing to pay it because it demands control. Control over your thoughts, your habits, your reactions. But the moment you master that control, you become untouchable. The world can throw chaos at you. Emotions can rise and fall, but your behavior stays steady. You no longer depend on a feeling to move forward. You move because you decided to. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from the chains of laziness, from the ups and downs of emotion, from the constant battle of motivation and doubt. When you build discipline, you build certainty. You know you'll show up no matter what. You know you'll execute the plan no matter how you feel. That's real power. Not energy that comes and goes, but the strength to act consistently even when everything inside you wants to stop. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is simple. The achievers keep working long after their emotions have left the room. They don't need to feel good to do good. They understand that emotions are passengers, but discipline is the driver. And once you let discipline take the wheel, you stop waiting for the right moment, because every moment becomes the right one to move forward. Ibrahim. Silence the noise. In a world that never shuts up, that's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Everyone's talking. Everyone's showing. Everyone's pretending they're ahead. The constant comparison, the endless opinions, the distractions, they drain your focus and kill your hunger. You start measuring your worth through other people's progress. You start doubting your pace, your effort, your purpose. That's how the noise wins. It doesn't beat you with truth, it beats you with distraction. But when you learn to silence the noise, when you stop looking around and start locking in, you take back control. You move from being reactive to being relentless. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they can't focus. They're too busy watching what everyone else is doing, too busy chasing validation instead of growth. They post more than they work. They talk more than they build. They think progress is about being seen, not about becoming strong. But the truth is, greatness is quiet. The grind doesn't need an audience. The process doesn't need approval. The mission doesn't need applause. The only thing that matters is execution. The work that happens when nobody's watching, when no one is clapping, when it's just you and the goal staring at each other in silence. Comparison is poison. It tricks your mind into thinking someone else's timeline defines your worth. It makes you forget that every journey is different, that growth doesn't follow a clock. You see someone winning, and instead of being inspired, you start questioning yourself. You start thinking you're behind. You start rushing, and when you rush, you lose direction. But when you silence the noise, you remember what matters, the mission. You stop chasing speed and start chasing mastery. You stop reacting to others and start responding to your own purpose. The noise isn't just outside, it's also inside your head. That inner voice that tells you you're not good enough, not talented enough, not moving fast enough. That's the loudest noise of all. The only way to silence it is through action. You can't argue with doubt. You have to outwork it. Every rep, every late night, every moment of effort. That's how you quiet the noise. Not with words, not with posts, but with proof. Results speak louder than insecurity ever could. That's why you focus on your mission until your results make the noise for you. People who are obsessed with progress don't have time to prove anything. They're too busy building. They understand that the moment you start explaining yourself to the world, you lose momentum. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need to post your grind for validation. The work itself is the message. The results are the response. Stay silent in the process and let success do the talking when it's time, because the world doesn't believe words. It believes results. Silencing the noise doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means protecting your energy. It means learning to say no. No to gossip, no to negativity, no to distractions. It means creating space for clarity, for growth, for purpose. It's about being intentional with where your focus goes. Every ounce of attention you waste on others is energy you could have spent improving yourself. Every second spent scrolling through someone else's success is a second you're not working on your own. You have to train your mind to lock in when the world tries to pull you away. You have to learn the discipline of tunnel vision, seeing nothing but the mission ahead. People will doubt you, criticize you, underestimate you, and that's fine. Let them talk. Let them question. Let them assume. You don't silence the noise by responding. You silence it by outperforming. You silence it by staying consistent, by outlasting everyone who's too busy talking instead of working. When you stay focused long enough, the same people who doubted you will eventually come asking how you did it. The same noise that once tried to distract you will start echoing your name. That's how it works. The results always speak louder, but you'll never reach that level if you keep feeding on distractions, if you keep letting outside noise dictate your inner peace. The mission requires full attention. It demands obsession. It demands that you stop looking around and start looking within, because that's where the real competition lives. Ibrahim outlasts the pain. That's what separates the few from the many, the legends from the talkers, the warriors from the weak. Pain is the toll you pay to stand alone at the top, and most people aren't willing to pay it. They say they want success, but the second the fire hits, they run. They say they're built for greatness, but the moment it gets uncomfortable, they start negotiating with their goals. The truth is, pain isn't the enemy. It's the teacher, the filter, the test. It shows you who's serious and who's pretending. It exposes the truth about how bad you really want it. Pain doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care how motivated you were yesterday. It comes for everyone, and it doesn't knock. It just walks in and asks, how much can you take? Most people fold when that question gets asked. They complain, they blame, they quit. But the ones who endure, the ones who take that pain and turn it into fuel, those are the ones who own it all, because pain has a purpose. It builds toughness, it builds hunger, it builds resilience. Every second you endure it, you grow stronger while everyone else gets weaker. The path to the top isn't paved with comfort. It's built on scars. Every person who's ever reached greatness has bled for it. They've walked through nights of doubt, rejection, failure, exhaustion. They've felt pain so deep it made them question everything. But they didn't stop. They didn't run. They didn't look for shortcuts. They learned to outlast the pain. They understood that pain doesn't last forever, but quitting does. The temporary burn of suffering is nothing compared to the permanent regret of giving up. Pain is the toll you pay for progress. Every rep, every mile, every sacrifice, it all hurts. That's the cost of growth. You can't evolve without it. The body doesn't get stronger without breaking down first. The mind doesn't toughen without pressure. You have to be willing to go through hell just to reach the next level. And when you're in that dark place, when everything inside you screams to stop, that's when you discover what you're made of. You realize pain isn't there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. Outlasting pain isn't about being fearless. It's about being committed. It's about waking up every day knowing that discomfort is coming and deciding to face it anyway. It's about walking into the storm instead of running from it. Because the more you run, the more it chases you. But when you face it, when you stand tall, take the hit, something inside you changes. You become immune to the noise. You stop flinching at challenges. You stop expecting easy. You start craving the fight because you know every ounce of pain you endure is building something unbreakable within you. Most people think strength is about muscles or power, but real strength lives in your ability to suffer without surrender. It's in the way you hold the line when everything in you wants to collapse. It's in the way you keep moving forward when your legs are shaking and your heart is breaking. Pain tries to break your rhythm, but you outlast it by controlling your response. You learn to breathe through it, to focus through it, to find meaning in it. And the moment you stop running from it, you start mastering it. There's a reason the top feels lonely, because very few survive the pain it takes to get there. The ones who do aren't lucky, they're relentless. They've learned to see pain as currency, not punishment. They've paid their dues in sweat, tears, and sacrifice. While others look for comfort, they look for challenge. While others seek rest, they seek resistance. And because of that, they build something that no one can take. Endurance, grit, power that comes from surviving what others couldn't handle. Pain doesn't disappear. It evolves. It becomes part of you. It becomes a reminder of every battle you refuse to lose, every wall you refuse to stop at. And the more you outlast it, the quieter fear becomes. You stop doubting yourself because you've seen what you can survive. You stop chasing easy because you've learned that real strength is born in the struggle. The ones who endure the longest, who refuse to quit when it hurts, they rise above everyone else.